Due to the ongoing health crisis, I had a little bit more time on my hands, so I watched episodes 1 through episode 5 for Yugioh Sevens. Before this, I only watched episode 1 and I covered it on the channel. I didn't say it was bad, I said it's just not for me because the target demographic is so drastically different to what I'm used to and what Yu-Gi-Oh fans are used to, so it's new ground for all of us essentially. So hopefully I can give you a comprehensive recollection or collection of my thoughts, reviews, ideas and impressions regarding this series. What I am going to do is I'm going to go through each episode one by one, break it down, give you my reviews, thoughts, and hopefully it's to your liking. If you guys like it, comment down below. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, let me know. What kind of content, be it Yu-Gi-Oh Sevens, Yu-Gi-Oh Reigns, or Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Monsters, let me know again. I'll be happy to listen and do as you lot please. Now, although I covered the first episode, I'm going to briefly, very briefly talk about it. So it was episode 1, Ikuzo, Rush Duel, go Rush Duel. The episode was an introduction of Rush Duels whereby we saw Yuga meeting our secondary protagonist, it seems, or our main buddy, and that is Rook. Now, I assume he was the initial rival, but I don't think that is the case, but maybe that might be the case moving forward. We'll discuss that later on. But they go and then they meet the hologram man whereby they duel. The hologram man pulls out the blue eyes white dragon. Of course, this guy is an homage to Kaiba. Now, Yuga beats the hologram man, unlocks the road, and that we have the start and the dawn of Rush Duels for the masses. It was a great introduction. It was a nice little, hey guys, this is Rush Duels. Hey, this is Yu-Gi-Oh Sevens. I know it's different, but let's give it a go. Throughout the episode, there never has been more in your face, old school Yu-Gi-Oh is shit. It's just them telling you, actually, old Yu-Gi-Oh is not beginner friendly. They even said how it's too complicated, so they need to kind of reinvent the game itself, and that is exactly what they're doing in real life with Rush Duel. So they're trying to bring a more beginner friendly, a more inclusive game whereby it's not bugged and riddled with such complexities as the current meta game is. My favorite scene of that episode is it has to be that you're not even allowed to trade. A trading card game, you're not allowed to trade without the presence of a member from Goha Corporation, who is the main corporate folly so far from this series. So let's go to the next episode. So this again was very brief. Episode 2, Akuma o Kao Otoko, the man who possesses a demon. So this episode focused more so on Rook. Before that, he kind of showcased some weird powers whereby he can turn off electricity, and you know, that was a big mystery that they put the seeds in from episode 1. So let's see how they build upon this from episode 2. Episode 2 was all about Yuga versus Rook. It was essentially a tutorial again for Rush Duels by using the other kids watching as a vehicle to relay the tutorial. So they had a bit of a group, their school grounds, these other school kids were watching, and they were the vehicle for them to kind of push home this tutorial. Now also, having the school president and the girl as narrators further educates the masses. Again, it was a bona fide tutorial. Yuga loses. Now, although he doesn't seem too serious, people thought that no, he lost on purpose. Well, actually not people. Rook thought he lost on purpose. Actually, Yuga lost properly. He fully lost. He kind of is showcasing the feeling of a combination of Jaden, Yuya, and Yuma all in one. The exuberance and the happiness and the positivity of Jaden, mainly Jaden, the naivety of Yuma, and the showmanship of Yuya. It's quite nice seeing this combination. Let's see how it works out. And it did work out in terms of, although Yuga may have lost the duel, lost the battle per se, he kind of won the war because he was live streaming the whole event so that everyone, the whole world, know about Rush Duels. And they show at the end the president of Goha Corporation. Now, why is everyone wearing a suit in Goha Corp, but this guy looks like a failed fusion of a rare hunter and a shadow rider? He looks really out there. He looks like he's a pantomime villain. He hasn't spoken, he's just chuckled here and there. Interesting. They are sowing the seeds for potential bits of tension, and let's see how that plays about. Although, in my opinion, they kind of subverted the narrative after saying from the first episode the door that leads to the path to become the king of duels has opened, but only for them to find out it's just a hologram and you need to find your own path. That, you know what, that was kind of funny. It was a troll moment, but it was really funny. It was a very comedy heavy episode, and it's a very comedy heavy series from what seems to be the case. It doesn't take away from the narrative just yet. and it kind of aligns with the tone already set for the series. This is for children, as evidenced by the time slot of 7:30 a.m. on Saturdays in Japan, in contrast to the late afternoon slots that the previous Yu-Gi-Oh series had. Now, some negatives or some bits of concern in my opinion. The animation. The animation. Before I move forward, let's kind of make very clear what is art, what is animation. Art is the way things look. Animation is the way those things move and how they interact with other artifacts of the screen itself. So how it moves, how fluid it is, etc. The animation just came across as very static. I understood that, okay, it's a new studio, and for that reason they've adopted a new art style. I don't know how good that is. Initially I thought for a softer look, it's going to make animation much more fluid and much more easier. Very similar to what they done with Pokemon Sun and Moon, where they done a massive redesign, as well as Dragon Ball Super Broly and One Piece. They adopted a far more softer look, so it's easier on the eye, it's more easier for the animators, and therefore there should be consistently higher amounts of quality throughout the board. This doesn't seem to be the case. Whenever they focus on the characters or the dialogues of just the characters, it's very static, to the point where it's just a static being and then the mouth flaps are moving. It's not very easy on the eye. But then again, if they're aiming this for kids, do they really care? Do they really care? And am I just nitpicking something which really doesn't need to be nitpicked? Overall, it was a good episode. It introduced, again, we're still in that tutorial honeymoon phase of, hey, this is Rush Duels, learn about it, learn about it, learn about it. Now, does a Rook really have a demon in him? Does he even have any special powers? They made a joke saying that it's the Pauli effect, which is a famous physicist, and the Pauli exclusion principle. It's about knocking out an electron throughout a atom using heat or energy. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while actually. So are they trying to explain his powers using this principle, or does he really have supernatural powers? Are we gonna even find out? That's yet to be seen. Episode 2 was a good episode. It served its purpose. Let's move on to episode 3. Episode 3, Romin no Himitsu. By the way, I'm gonna try to narrate these in Japanese and it's gonna be terrible, so pardon me and please don't skewer me in the comment section. This episode is called Romin's Secret. So they suspect that Romin is a spy, and this ends with a duel between Romin and Yugioh. Now, as they duel, Rook and Gakuto, they both are suspecting something's a bit dodgy. They think that something is inside Romin's case, and the way Romin's acting, she doesn't want to duel, but then she really is desperate to duel and be involved in this new Rush duel. Now, the drone that Yugioh has loves Ronin in a weird fangirly way. It's a nice touch, increasing the dial on the comedy aspect. I'm indifferent to that. It's okay. So far, it's okay. Romin got her ace card after attending a concert and catching the card. Aren't Rush Duel cards exclusive from the normal Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Or is that just in the real life game itself? In the series, are you allowed to use main Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Rush Duels? In Master Duels to Rush Duels? I don't know. I think that has to be the case, because Rush Duels was only invented by Yugioh last episode, a few episodes ago. So if Romin got her ace card from a concert, you'd assume many episodes before that. It's a bit of a plot hole, but again, I'm thinking too much into this. Calm down, Dimsy. Shut your mouth, close your mind, and enjoy. Yugioh wins. Instead of having a forced tutorial narrated by Yugioh or the others, Romin was the one. She was the narrator in this case, but she was showcasing it as if that she kind of knew and she was accustomed to what was Rush Duels. It's a very good teaching technique. When you see a kid and you're teaching them, you initially tell them, okay, this is the rules, blah 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 blah, and then you want them to repeat it to you so they know that they understand, and that's exactly what they did. By having Romin explain everything back, showcases, okay, people are getting a bit familiar with Rush Duels. And this episode was a pseudo tutorial. It was a good episode. It really was a good episode. Let's move on to episode 4. Sayonara, Seito Kaicho! Goodbye, Student Council President. It was all about Gakuto. This was the Gakuto episode. Now, Gakuto vs Yugioh was the main centerpiece of this episode. We saw exactly how busy Gakuto is as the student body president. It gives an insight to all of the tasks and duties that he has, and also a newfound respect. This guy wakes up very early. It's a nice little touch that he arrives at school at 6, whatever it may be, and it's just nice. it's actually quite endearing to see how hard this guy is working and how much he cares. It's showcasing really how much this guy cares. The vice presidents, who look really weird, they convince him by saying, look, your focus on the student body presidency is being dulled and blurred because you're enjoying rush duels, you're allowing rush duels on school premises, and this is what leads to the duel between Yugioh and Gakuto. Now, between the duel, they told a story in itself how Gakuto, he has his aides with him. He doesn't even draw his own cards, he doesn't set him. That is the Sogetsu way of dueling, which is quite funny. And seeing how he chucks away that way of dueling to duel himself is telling of his character. It showcases how he done a big U-turn from hating rush duels or understanding that rush duels might not be very good for the school to embracing rush duels. It was a nice little mini character arc showcased throughout the episodes and the mannerisms in how they throughout this duel and the mannerisms in how they enacted and they conducted the duel. So if Yugioh wins, Gakuto has to lose his presidency and he has to allow rush duels on school grounds. Whereas if Gakuto wins, Yugioh has to stop and rush duels has to be forbidden from school grounds. Yugioh wins. Gakuto loses, he relinquishes his presidency and he allows rush duels on school grounds. Only for him the next day to be re-elected and he's back as the president, back to normal. That's funny. Now that is actually really funny. If there was any episode that could be as comedy heavy, it would have been this one so far. Gakuto has already been established as this comedic relief amongst the main four that we've been introduced to. So let's see how things play out. Now that Rush Duels is really embraced fully by each and every one of the members, we're going to see how everything pans out. Again, like the other few duels, this was a tutorial duel. This duel was showcasing, it was a tutorial to give the difference of what is a special summon compared to what is a tribute summon. So again, easing everyone into not only what is a rush duel, but what is Yu-Gi-Oh! Basics 101. So we move on to the finale of this quintuplet of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens episodes. Episode 5. Rook Otoko no Tatakai. Rook, Fight of a Man. Episode 5. Now this was a good episode actually. Just straight off the bat, in terms of the narrative, Rook has been established as this fun-going narcissist who really does want the best for rush duels. I don't know why, but he really wants the best for rush duels. And this kind of covered a potential media cover-up and a smear campaign which began, and they had to rectify it. All of the rush duel videos and mentions on the internet have been completely wiped out. The school newspaper even done a hit piece on rush duels, so they're trying to convince the school newspaper, hey look, this isn't what you guys made it out to be. They're saying that it's a poison, it's terrible, it's the worst things, it's for losers, it's for people who are so simple-minded. And they had to convince the school newspaper team that that's not the case. Instead of Yugioh taking on the mantle, as you would expect, this time it was a Rook. It was a Rook versus the newspaper chief. Now, let's get one thing straight. The newspaper chief looks like Yuya from Arc V as an intern. He actually looks really, really similar to Yuya in some capacity at the very least. The climax between Rook and the newspaper chief was filled with passion, and I adored it. It was really, really well done. The art during the times of tension were glorious and reminiscent of old Yu-Gi-Oh! The newspaper chief's face at times looked very evil and Arc V-esque. Yes, the shading wasn't as dramatic as what we're used to, but if you're gonna have more of this moving forward, it's really good. So they're gonna keep these old hallmarks of Yu-Gi-Oh! How they make every single demented, crazy character like that. I hope they keep that up, and that's again hope moving forward. As much as I've had reservations on Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens in terms of how it looks, hopefully even if they could add a bit of that would be fantastic. Rook wins the duel and all is happy-go-lucky. Slowly but surely they are turning around all of the doubters. Now the only thing left is going to be Goha Corp or the adults who are going to come in their way. It seems that they've kind of turned around the hearts and minds of the children. It's weird. What kid reads the newspaper? But okay, they've turned around the kids and convinced them, okay, watch and listen, enjoy rush duels. The first 5 episodes were a fun ride, but as much as I've detailed the positives and how the comedy works and how the narrative is quite simple so far, I do have some major points to say which I don't like. after 5 episodes, I've given it 100 minutes of my life. In those 100 minutes, in those 5 episodes, I still cannot stand the ending for Yugioh Sevens. It's absolutely shit. The art, the animation, it is shit. It is static. It is stupid. The opening, fine. It encapsulates everything that Yugioh Sevens is going to be. It's a good opening. I'm not going to take that away. The ending is trash. And if that bothers you, please tell me why I'm wrong. Explain to me, enlighten me, educate me. Yeah, I'm not going to focus too much on the art and the animation. It's different. It's not bad, it's different. But one thing that is different and that is detrimental is the overuse of cutaway scenes to encourage and to enforce the comedy. Yeah, I know it's going to be funny. I know they're going to put a lot of comedy in this, but having it in a Family Guy-esque whereby they cut away to a hypothetical scenario where they have Yuga in a suit, it's funny at first, yeah, fine. But when it's at the times of action during the duels, it does take away from the moment. I'm not as invested in the duel because they keep on cutting away from it. And they're not cutting away from it by giving us another person's perspective. They are cutting away the visuals whilst having the audio and having the dialogue still play out. It's a bit weird. I know they're trying to emphasize the jokes, or they're trying to give us things of comparison, hypothetical or whatever it may be. And it's being used too much to enforce the comedy. Give the comedy for another way, or dial it down. Maybe dial it down. Maybe these 11-year-olds aren't as receptive to content when I was 11. And you know what? That's why I'm wrong. I am wrong. I shouldn't actually be putting my lens from when I was 11 to these lot. It's a different world. It's a different time. It's a different era. So I know this is a very subjective view. I don't like it. But at the same time, a lot of people, myself included, did not like Teen Titans Go, but Teen Titans Go was a massive success. So maybe if Yugioh Sevens carries on and is a massive success, especially over the younger generation in this new demographic, maybe that's going to reignite Yu-Gi-Oh in ways that I can't even imagine. So that's not much of a negative. It's just a personal little I don't like it. Another little personal I don't like is, why did the Yu-Gi-Oh cards look so realistic? They look too realistic. The back of it is far too detailed. The amount of detail that is on the Yu-Gi-Oh card itself, be it the back or the front, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. When you have a minimalistic, a simplistic approach of the character designs, and you contrast it to the way the Yu-Gi-Oh cards look, it's weird. You got something that is super detailed, and then you got something that is super simple, all in the same frame. Heck, mate, why don't we draw more strands of Yuga's hair? Why don't we have more dramatic shadows in Yuga's hair, similar to how we had it with the old school Yu-Gi-Oh? More shine, more shadow, more detail. No, what they did was they put more detail on the Yu-Gi-Oh card, the back of the card. I don't know, maybe there's a little hack to it. Maybe they're using stock footage or stock animation, but the styles contrast far too much, and again, subjective opinion, it doesn't work for me. If it works for you, fantastic. Please let me know. So again, first 5 episodes, it worked for what it was trying to achieve. Did it work for me? Not completely. But did it completely dissuade me? Not completely. The lack of a major antagonist is starting to bug me. The lack of a major or a established rival is starting to bug me. Rook is not a rival. Rook is a fanboy. Rook really is not a rival, and I don't see how he can actually take the mantle of a proper rival. He's a companion. Where is the initial antagonist, the initial rival antagonist? Where is the Kaiba? Where is the Jack Atlas? Where's the Revolver? Where is the antithesis of our protagonist in terms of skill, in terms of ideals? That's not yet been introduced. Will we get that? I don't know. And it has to be a kid. I don't want it to be an adult. It has to be someone that is somewhat relatable. We've not yet got that. I can't wait to get that. So let's see how that turns out. With that, I think I've exhausted all of my points, and if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much. It means quite a lot for your support and the support that you guys are giving me. So please make sure to like and share it with your friends. And if you're gonna clamor for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, let me know. I want to know what you guys want so that I can cater to you lot. Thank you again. Please stay safe and take the best of care. Bye bye.